And welcome to Believe in Panthers, a brand new episode here on Believe Podcast Networks. Desmond Johnson here with the Panthers' all-time leading rusher, Jonathan Stewart, presented by FanDuel. You know, Stu, this is the time of the year where everybody's 0-0. Everyone's expectations run high. You hear feel-good stories of undrafted rookies making their way through and things of that sort. When it comes to the Panthers and the Browns preseason game one, what do you think is the number one thing for fans to look at going into it? Might even be a Panther thing, it might be a Browns thing. What are you looking at going into this Panthers Browns game on Friday as a storyline to watch?
I think the storyline here is, what can the rookies do, right? You heard Canella speak and say that there's a potential that the starters get in and play, um, which ultimately means that these rookies are going to play, right? You got Jimmy Horn Jr., you got Teterora. I want to see how they respond to their first time being on the field, right? But not only that, they have joint practices this week. So they get a taste of the NFL in a way that, the excitement, you've been practicing against each other for the last, several months. And now you get a chance to practice against someone else for the first time. And I remember being in training camp and having joint practices. It was a thing to, really take the energy level all the way up. Yeah, it was an opportunity to test your skill set, to test your ability against another pro, and to do it in a way that you don't necessarily like the guy, right? And I'm excited to see Jimmy Horn. I was at FanFest, and he was able to showcase his ability, his route running ability, and getting open, and that was exciting. And it was cool to see the offense. The play calling, um, being able to deliver, exciting, passing game, an exciting passing game for the Carolina Panthers just during FanFest. And so I saw Xavier Legette. Want to see how he grows. I just want to see how everybody, has grown from last year to this year, and then the additional pieces, seeing how they fit in. That's what's going to be a telling tell as far as how excited we are for the Panthers and where that meter matches. Right? Right now we're like, man, we should be good this year. This is a first opportunity for us to see what we're actually expecting. Obviously, it's a preseason game, and we're not going to get, you know, the glitz and glamour, the whole entire playbook. We're going to get vanilla looks. We're going to just get what people can do fundamentally. And on the Brown side of things, I want to see Mason Graham. I want to see,
Mm-hmm.
how good he is. Unfortunately, we don't get to see the running back from Ohio, Quishon Junkins. We don't get to see him. He's in some legal trouble. We'll hopefully he figures that out. But we get to see what's the other kid? Dylan Sampson,
Yeah, yeah.
the running back. We get to see him, and that's an opportunity for him. We get to see guys get opportunities because that's part of the game. God doesn't get guys get hurt. Guys don't show up for practice. Guys have legal trouble clearly, and this is your opportunity right out the gate to showcase yourself and make a name for yourself. And that's what these preseason games are all about. It's about making a name for yourself, especially if you're a guy that's undrafted or a seventh round draft pick, or you're a guy that has been a free agent for several years and you've been bouncing around from team to team. You get a chance to go out there and prove why you need to be on a 53-man roster. And that's what preseasons are for. And it's also for fine tuning. And I want to, and it's actually interesting that last year we didn't see our starters take a snap,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's interesting to see the switch there for Canellas coming in and saying, "Hey, our players will see some snaps," and I think it's meaningful to it'll be meaningful if they do get an opportunity to go out there especially in these weeks where there's joint practices, to be able to take the field with that type of intensity,
As a
whether it's for one series or two, which I expected it to just be one. We'll be able to see those guys go out there and make some plays.
I think we ask you this question every offseason, but or in the preseason at least. But as a former NFL player, does it is it like your fingers getting calloused because you're practicing playing guitar, playing preseason football? Does it help at all in terms of getting hit a couple times before week one, or is it kind of overblown and it's really
No,
more how you
no,
prepare and
it's a thing. Like I was actually talking to Thomas Davis the other day, and when we were at FanFest, and I was like, "Man, one of the very few times that I practiced at FanFest, we made it to the Super Bowl."
there you go.
Right? Because a lot of times, coach really looked out, as far as guys that were banged up, and I was a guy that was banged up a lot. And, practice was a thing for me where it was managed, um, to where I can actually make it to the field on game days.
Right.
Um, but I just look at, the preseason, you want to be able to get hit in the face first before it matters. Right? It's like, I don't know how to really, it's like, when you play a video game for the first time, right? It's like, oh man, that was just practice. Let's do it for real now.
Let's do it. Hit the reset. Let's do over. Do over.
Right?
I
Like
mean,
you got
it makes
21
sense.
skunked, and it's like, man, I needed that to see what it was gonna feel like. I needed to get woken up. Certain guys respond differently. Certain guys don't need preseason reps, right? They just pros. They figure it out. They can, and certain positions, especially, can just roll into it maybe. But I think the offensive line, the defensive line, the linebackers, you want to feel that contact. You want to feel what it's going to feel like to get hit, get knocked down a couple times in a game, and then have to recover the next day and bounce back for practice. That's kind of the measure of callus that you need when it comes to these practices, these walkthroughs, and then you have these joint practices where you just amps up the intensity because now you see another colored jersey on the other side, and now your mind's like,
Yeah.
like I don't like the Browns. I'm not supposed to like the Browns. That's a different color. Like they in our house, and yes, it's practice, but
But
now you have to figure out how to compose yourself, right? And how to not overdo certain things and hurt each other and all that. So uh, it's gonna be. I'm looking forward to seeing whether or not we put our stars on the field.
I do. I mean, and it's a good thing. I will say that we have an Andy Dalton on this team because while Bryce is going to play a little bit, I would imagine. Actually, I kind of hope he
Mm-hmm.
does because last year he only played that one series in the last preseason game. Then you wait 2 weeks, you come out week one, and it just didn't feel right from the jump off. Like it just felt like he didn't have enough time to kind of get ready for it. I don't think that's going to be the case this year. By all accounts, Bryce
Yeah,
this has become his offense. They've added extra wrinkles to it, but having an Andy Dalton, a grizzled vet behind him, now you can properly evaluate wide receiver 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
that's a good point.
Like because before it'd be some journeyman or somebody out there or somebody you don't even know is going to make the team playing quarterback. You can't get a full evaluation with Andy. You might actually be playing Sunday games with Andy Dalton, like somewhere during the
Yeah,
season. So to see a Jimmy Horn, to see a Ted McMillan, like these rookies out there with different quarterbacks, Andy can pretty much do arm wise what Bryce can do. So I'm fine with that. Um, I'm looking at like tales like this kind of just came to my attention when I was doing my show a little bit ago. The cornerback Corey Thornton out of Louisville, another undrafted free agent that Dan Morgan found and brought in. He's turning heads at camp. I'm seeing Joe Person and other Panther beat writers commenting about him like every other day, like on Twitter, that he had a pass breakup at the goal line or he had his defense against Ted or whatever it might be. And to me, he is literally the type of player that Dan was talking about when he referred to you in his opening press conference about wanting certain dogs. That kind of guy. Because Corey Thornton, he's playing as if his career is on the line. It is. His career is on the line. Like he's playing like a dog. Like he's hungry. Like he's thirsty. And like he got a chance to play during FanFest on Saturday because they sat JC Horn for the night. So he played with the ones and he's been playing with the ones. And we'll probably get a chance to see him on Friday night. I'm curious to see him because one of the things we were a little worried about going into the season was our
Was the
secondary
depth of
depth. Yeah, back in the secondary. And you get if Dan Morgan starts pulling guys out every year out of once the draft is over and he grabs 2 or 3 dudes that end up being part of a 53 like every year, that usually doesn't happen, right? Like that's unusual for because last year was like Jalen Coker, was it Damani Richardson, I believe his name was.
Yeah, Damani Richardson.
Yeah,
Yep.
those they weren't drafted. They weren't drafted. They were just people that Dan saw, recognized the talent, brought them in, they fit in. Coker had 32 catches last year, and he's going to be part of this wide receiver group going into this year. So I'm looking at storylines like that going into this, and we talked about this off the air with Cleveland. One of the things we're kind of looking at with Cleveland is their quarterback room because we don't know exactly who their quarterback is in terms of like I'm trying to pull the chart now. They're showing 6 quarterbacks. Well, granted, one of them is Deshaun Watson. They got him on the IR. I didn't know he was hurt.
So basically you got Joe Flacco, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, and Kenny Pickett.
Mm-hmm. They got Tyler Huntley
Shedeur
too.
Sanders and Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett are nursing some injuries. They brought in Huntley.
Yep. Tyler Huntley's in the case.
Right?
Dang.
But it's interesting, right? Like with all those injuries, these are missed opportunities now. And and it's like, did Shedeur do enough to showcase what he's capable of? Will he come back and be able to have more opportunities here in the next coming weeks with his shoulder being sore? I mean, shoot, will he be back this week? We don't know, right?
I don't
know. And hopefully he does, because to my assumption and to what I've been seeing, he's been looking really sharp in camp. Probably the sharpest of them all as far as pass percentages, right?
Yeah.
He's made his presence known in the community. Spreading love in the community, going out and going to spots in Cleveland and showing some love. I think there was like an article about there being a fire in a low income housing community, and there was a fire in the apartment community complex, and he went out there and threw a bit of a surprise get together, like where there was slides for the kids, there was food trucks and face painting and all kind of stuff, right? And just the little things that he's already starting to do. He's making a case that, hey, I'm here for the community. I know what it's going to take to be a leader here in this community on this team. So he's doing all the right things. And if certain guys miss the moment to get on that field and play football, you can't make the team while you're in the tub.
That's
right. That's what they say.
Best ability is availability. So
and
I'm looking at your guy Dylan Gabriel, and I'm like, you're very familiar with him. It looks like, looking at the depth chart, because I don't believe in Kenny Pickett. I didn't believe in Kenny Pickett when he came out of school. I thought his hands were too little to play quarterback.
It looked like Joe Flacco, in my opinion, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, so it really, and in the end, it's going to really kind of come down to who plays better, Dylan or Shedeur, like in the preseason, to back up Flacco. And if you're backing up Flacco, I think he's not the oldest in the league. That's Aaron Rodgers. He's 39, 38.
Yeah, he's about my age. We came in together. We came in the same year.
So, okay, he played 17 games. I mean,
he was throwing cannons then. He was still throwing cannons now, but he might throw some interceptions too.
He's the original bet on yourself, Joe Flacco, right there.
But Dylan Gabriel having that soft tissue injury with a hamstring, that can sideline a guy, right? So it might open up a window for Shedeur. And
he might need that, because I'm seeing it's one thing for him to be doing completion high percentages with like the third team or the 4th team or whatever. Yeah. Shedeur's got a train in front of him trying to move up the depth chart, and it might end up being injury or just somebody not playing well for him to naturally move up. I know the work ethic's there. I ain't got to question that, him being Sanders. Like I've seen images of him on X where he's the first one there, the last one to leave, that kind of thing, trying to set an example. I feel really bad for Shedeur, because I feel like he's getting punished for his dad being so great and so boisterous. he should not have been a 5th round pick. Oh, well, yeah, he should not have been a 5th round pick. And it almost felt like, I don't want to say collusion by the NFL, but almost like most NFL teams didn't want to have to deal with the Sanders family if they drafted him. And I'm like, that's not fair. Like, I mean.
But then, Shedeur publicly said, like, hey, Pops, like, I don't need you coming to my practices. You know what I'm saying? And that's good that he vocalized it. So that way the NFL and the people realize that he's here to be focused on his craft. And I'm obviously sure that Deion Sanders is like, I wasn't going to come anyway. I got football practice.
I'm coaching Colorado.
And shout out to Deion Sanders too, man. He went through a surgery.
Oh yeah.
And he's in recovery. He's been recovered and whatnot, and he's back at it. Like nothing.
He went through it last
nothing
year.
happened right now. Like he's just back at it. And that's just a living testament to, a guy that wants it and a guy that does this thing because he loves what he does and he loves, changing people's lives. And that's what college football is all about. You're changing these young kids' lives, whether they make it to the pros or not. You're here to advance them as humans, as adults, as men, and that's what he does. So people can talk all they want about Deion. He's gonna make sure that these kids are loved and that they are growing.
Yeah. Imagine a kid like Jimmy Horn Jr. Like, where would he be today if Colorado and Deion hadn't picked him up and done this thing? His whole story. If you go back and read his backstory, what's going on with him?
Speaking of Jimmy, we gonna call Jimmy Himmy.
Hey, I told you he had people were clowning. I was like, he reminds me of Smitty a little bit. Like if you squint your eyes, he ain't Smitty, but he's got a little.
Yeah, we ain't gotta relate him to Smitty, but we gonna call him Himmy. Himmy Horn Jr.
Boy, I love
That's a guy that's gonna develop.
Yes,
that guy there, he's so like. First of all, J.C. Horn already said it throughout the week in some news article. He's hard to cover. Can't cover him.
Yeah, I saw that. I think
if you got Jimmy Horn, our top corner, saying he's hard to cover.
That's my point. Yeah.
Well, shoot, who gonna cover him then?
You can't cut that man. If you can't
cover him, he need to be on the field.
You can't cut that man now. He's uncuttable. You can't cut him. He's got to stay. Because you know what would happen?
He's got to stay.
Because you know what happened? We would cut him. Tampa or somebody would pick him up. Atlanta, he goes off for 1,000-yard season.
No way he getting cut. He made the team.
He getting cut.
Himmy is a Carolina Panther.
I love it. I'm the same way with Winfro. I've seen enough with Winfro. I'm like,
Hunter,
he ain't getting cut
you
either.
are Carolina Panther.
Yeah.
The way you was running the routes in practice on one-on-ones, that's all I need to see, baby.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for it. So
you're gonna have the NFC South shaking. They're like, oh man, you should have stayed in the AFC.
They don't even know. they ain't prepared for this. They've been used to mediocrity coming out of Charlotte for like 6 years, and like I feel like people get a shocking. Like, this is a little different over here in Carolina, what they doing right now.
This is our second week talking about the receivers. Let's get to the running backs.
Before we do that, though, before we get out of that Panthers-Browns thing, so right now, of course, like I mentioned, we are brand new sponsor, brand new deal, Believe FanDuel partnership. If you go to FanDuel.com right now, as of this tape, in the Panthers versus Browns preseason game on Friday night at Bank of America Stadium on FanDuel has the overall money line on Cleveland winning at plus 190. Meaning if
no, that's them losing.
Well, that's them losing. Excuse me. So if you So if Cleveland loses,
the odds are not in their favor.
Right. So
the odds are in Carolina's favor
because y'all got to
minus 200.
Y'all got to help me.
Yeah, minus 200. The Carolina Panthers are favored to win against the Browns.
Okay. So in this instance, if I'm on FanDuel.com. And I pick Cleveland on the money line, and they're at plus 190.
A little bit more money.
I bet $100, but if they win, I'm winning back 190, right?
Yeah.
Oh, if they lose, excuse me. So if it actually does,
if they win, the plus means that the odds are higher.
Okay. So So if Cleveland wins on Friday night outright, and I bet $100 on the Browns on the money line, I'd walk away with $190.
Yeah.
And if I did that on Carolina's side and Carolina won, I'd win whatever that is. And theirs was I forgot what it was, like minus 2 something when I looked at it.
Minus 200. Minus 200.
So normally I would frown upon betting against the Panthers, but it's preseason week 1. None of the starters are going to really be out there past halftime. It's totally feasible that the Browns' 3rd and 4th string bring this game home on the road. It's almost impossible to figure out a preseason. You don't know who's going to play. So if you're going to bet against the Panthers right now this season, maybe this is the one to do it. FanDuel.com, the Panthers are currently favored in the game by 4.5 points. We talked about the wide receivers, and we mentioned them again here just a bit ago, and we're going to go fast track here. Talking about the Panthers.
So basically, hold on, going back to the money line.
Yeah.
So for the viewers, if you bet $10 on the Panthers winning, which right now is at minus 210, right? You will win $4.76. Now, if you picked the Cleveland Browns to win, you would win $17.50 because they are at plus 175.
Hotter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn this before the season's over. Like I'm actually thankful I don't bet that much, but I know everyone else.
Yeah, you shouldn't be betting.
But hey, the ones that do
if you're gonna do it,
get it in.
If you're gonna do it, follow your boy. I'm gonna have all the odds.
There it is. Go follow Stu. Go follow Stu on Instagram and Twitter, and get some golf tips too while you're at it. Because my man out there on the course doing his thing. FanDuel. Huge partnership with Believe. They'll be with us all season long, so definitely enjoying the partnership with FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com. They've got sign-on bonuses right now, I believe. I think it's about $1, get like 150 or something crazy. So go over there and check them out. The Panthers running back room, we were talking about this before too, and I wanted to talk about the guys that are in here. Let me pull this up here. So you got Chuba Hubbard, of course, who just got the bag last year. He's going to be running back number 1. Rico Dowdle, who came over from Dallas, 1,000-yard rusher, looked pretty good on Saturday, and from what I've seen online. Trevor Etienne is where I wanted to stop. The rookie running back out of Georgia. Travis Etienne's younger brother. What are your thoughts on just those first 3? And we can have Blackshear, because I know you're a Raheem Blackshear fan. Those first four up there, because I don't know if Amani Bailey's going to make it through preseason, and Jonathan Brooks is not playing this year, of course, with the leg injury. He's up there, but we're not going to see him until 2026. So that first 4 there, Hubbard, Dowdle, Etienne, Blackshear, what do you think about that running back room for Carolina, and compared to some of the running back rooms you've been in the past?
I mean, I look at Chuba Hubbard as a guy that's established, right? We paid him. He's a little bit of the heart of the team, in my opinion. You look at last year and how this team came together. Once he got paid, everybody was like, okay, sweet. That's our guy.
Yeah, for real. They did kind of fall in line. Yeah.
And it became the Chuba Train show. Okay. And I love that. And what they did, they went and got a guy named Rico Dowdle. Okay. Rico. Hit him with that Rico, right? Rico Dowdle comes from Dallas. We saved him from Dallas.
We saved him.
Like, look, don't even hesitate. Just come on.
We're going to get to them in a minute.
Don't go. We're going to sign you. We ain't going to wait. We're going to get you over here. You're going to like it. And it's their fault that they didn't bring you back, right? Idiots.
Yeah.
So
we're going to talk about Dallas in just a bit.
So Rico Dowdle brings pop and consistency. That's what he brings to the table. You know, those two guys, that two pairing, they're very similar in my opinion, you know, as far as what they can do and what they can contribute. But Chuba has done it. And he's done it for the Carolina Panther, and he's done it the Panther way. And he's a guy that you don't have to worry about in the offseason whether or not he's been preparing, because he's been preparing since he's been playing football.
Yeah,
that's the type of guy he is. Yep. You know, you go to his Instagram, you go to certain clips, his trainers and stuff like that. You see him putting in the work. Rico Dowdle's a guy that is from the Carolinas. You know, this is an opportunity for him to bring this thing full story. You know, bring it full circle. And so I think these two guys will be able to spell each other really well. And then you add Trevor Etienne, okay, the wild card,
some sizzle.
The raw flag. Okay.
He the bacon. He the bacon in the room.
Man. So look, I seen a couple clips. Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing this guy shine in the preseason.
Yep.
I'm not really expecting to see Chuba Hubbard in the preseason. I don't need to see him. He's just, like I said, the word established. We ain't gotta see him.
Yeah.
Okay. He's a guy that's gonna make sure he knows the plays. He knows what it's gonna feel like to get hit. Let's just make sure we keep him healthy. That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
Rico Dowdle, I want to see how you fit in the offense. I want to see how you move and shake. I want to see if you still do the same things with the Carolina Panthers as you was doing with the Dallas Cowboys, which I'm sure you will do. It's a familiar place because you were here last year and you roasted the Carolina Panthers on the running game.
He did.
Okay?
He did.
And so now we able to have you on our side.
What is that? We do that a lot. We sign players that like killed us the year before. Like that's like the best game, and then we sign them.
Yeah, come on over.
Come on,
like that. We got you right on film. Trevor Etienne, the wild card, guy that we drafted, change of pace guy. But guess what? He gets to run between the tackles too. So what I like about this room is it's not about who starts. It's about who's keeping the sticks moving. All of them are. All of these guys are going to keep the sticks moving.
And that's really
what you got to be excited about.
I want 150 yards a game on the ground by committee. If that means Chuba's getting 80 yards and Etienne throws in 40 and Dowdle's got 60. Fine.
No, let's not make no mistake. I still want Chuba to have 15 plus carries.
Yeah, I do want him to be the workhorse guy.
I want him to be the 15 plus touch guy. Okay.
I think they can do
catches, runs, whatever. Rico Dowdle, you right behind him. Trevor, you go in there and you make sure nothing else fades.
Yep.
You just keep the things going, keep the sticks moving, and then when the coach dials up a special play, you make sure you hit a home run.
And they're running behind a good O-line. Like for once, like they put money in that. That was the first thing they did last year. They put money in the O-line, and Robert Hunt, Damian Lewis. I saw Taylor Moton at the beginning of the week getting kind of emotional. He got asked a question about his future with the Panthers because I think he's on his final year of his deal.
Love that interview.
Yeah, and one of the things I realized though, because Brant Tillis was like right behind him, and basically was like, "Yeah, we don't know. I mean, it might not be. I can't sit here and tell you he will be here next year. It's not really the nature of the business." And that's when it kind of dawned on me. It's like this really is a new era in Carolina Panther football where it's like they are about their business. Like he's not. There's no point for Brant Tillis to sit there at the podium and say, "Yeah, Taylor Moton's gonna be back next year. We're gonna sign him for 5 years." There's no reason for him to say that. Whereas in a place like Dallas, where all kinds of hijinks happen, you got the owner out there talking during player negotiations. And this is what I wanted to get your opinion on this, because this is the, as we go around the league real quick, the Micah Parsons Dallas Cowboys situation, really it's Micah Parsons versus Jerry Jones. Micah Parsons basically saying, I no longer want to be a Cowboy. How many times have you heard a player say, I don't want to be a Cowboy? It's like saying, I don't want to be a Laker. I don't want to be a Yankee. Like nobody leaves Dallas unless Dallas sends you on your way. But no players voluntarily usually leave Dallas, and especially someone who's forget position. He might be top 5 overall in the league in terms of like his how good he is. Of course, Dallas ain't gonna trade him. But what do you think of the situation with Micah and the Cowboys?
You know what sucks for this whole the situation, we already know the situation. I ain't going to beat it like a dead horse.
Yeah.
Micah wants to get paid what he's worth. It's not that he's saying that, hey, I'm playing football for money. No, he's playing football because he wants to be great. He trains to be great. And when a player is training to be great and he's playing at a Hall of Fame level by year 3, he earns something. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not his fault that you waited. And when you wait, the price goes up every single day.
Every time they do this, it happens. I can't think of a single situation this has worked for Dallas. Like even going back to Emmitt Smith in '92, like Emmitt sat out the first 2 regular season games until Jerry.
When you started hearing rumors that TJ Watt was over there saying, "Hey, I'm trying to get paid," Dallas Cowboys should have been over there saying, "Okay, let's try to pay our guy first.
Get him done. Get him done before, because TJ signed for what, 40 a year, 40 million a year,
41.
Highest paid non-quarterback in the league. And now Micah's team, they have something to go off of. Like I understand Micah waiting because he wanted to see what TJ was going to get.
Now I want 42.
Yep, give me a little bit more than what TJ got. I'm a little younger. I play for America's team. You know you love me. You tell me all the time you love me. Give me that money, Jerry. And Jerry's like, no, I want to wait till like September the 15th, and then we'll see what this market is. Okay,
but what it does, what this really does, it screws up the culture of the Cowboys.
That's what I wanted to get to with you. Yes, the locker room. How are they?
The problem is that the Cowboys, when it comes to business, they are doing bad business with the players. You're doing great business with the marketing. You're doing great business with the B2B, with the sponsors and the lead sponsors, the people that are going to be in the suites and the drinks and all those types of things that make Dallas Cowboys America's team, which is marketing, right? You are the most marketable team in America because you're the Dallas Cowboys, Texas football state.
One of the most
That's
valuable
what we do.
sports
And
franchises
when
in the
you're
world.
not handling business within that locker room, you're basically selling yourself short because now you're sending the message that, hey, you don't really matter that much.
Yep.
It don't matter what you do. You can be the best at your position in the entire league, but we still gonna treat you like a running Jesse.
And see,
And I'm gonna let you know one thing. That's exactly what it be. That's what it be like.
that's real. Yeah, that's
Getting treated
real.
like a. And I'm gonna let all y'all people figure out what a running Jesse is. But that's what it feels like. Okay.
It's so
And
crazy.
and we don't have a problem elsewhere to figure out, hey, let's pay the guys that we need to pay and get this business handled before it becomes a problem and we're in the tabloids for the wrong reasons. It's training camp. Y'all supposed to be focused on football, but instead, y'all wondering when Micah Parsons, your best football player, is going to show up.
And this ain't the first for this group of Cowboys. They do this every offseason. Like last year,
Dak Prescott,
CeeDee Lamb, like they're
CeeDee Lamb
constantly.
last year.
And then what happens? It's the same thing every time. Jerry waits to the very, very end, and then he has to overpay whoever it was. Dak was the highest. I think he might still be the highest paid quarterback in the league or something like that per year or whatever, because they waited so long to sign him, and then he got hurt and missed like a third of the year or whatever. CeeDee Lamb, he don't hardly talk really. He just with him, I understood it. He was waiting on Justin Jefferson's contract to get done. Once that got done, then CD kind of got done. So that one was understandable. This one, TJ Watt's contract's been done like for a minute now. Like this should have been done before they even reported to camp. And I think Jerry inserted himself in there is what's causing all the issues.
And what people need to realize is that you can't expect players to not like respond in a way. You can't not expect players to respond any other way. You need to expect them to respond like businessmen because they are a business. They're a walking business. They're a walking LLC. And if they don't negotiate and they don't do things the right way, they're going to be bad businessmen.
Yep.
We wouldn't have Jerry Jones out there signing bad deals, right? For a bad product. Like Micah Parsons is the best product on the team.
You lucked into him, really. Like, I mean,
so like you it's
I mean,
like
it's Dallas.
sorry.
It's Dallas.
Sorry you have the best defensive edge rush.
This is what we've come to expect from the Dallas Cowboys at this point. So it's just like, all right, man, we'll see week 2 or whatever when he starts holding out and you got to pay him $50 million a year just to appease the fans and everybody else. The problem is if they don't pay him, they trade him. You're basically telling the rest of the team this window is over. Like,
right,
we're not going to do after you just paid CD, you just paid Dak, you just drafted all these offensive linemen and stuff, and now you're basically going to be like, oh well, we didn't really mean it. Like we're going to just press the reset because they're getting back his first round picks and stuff for Micah. I mean, you're not going to get anybody on the same level as him as a player coming back the other way. So they're not going to trade him. It's just a matter of who. It's a game of chicken, really, at this point. And really, Micah ain't got to do anything. It's Jerry Jones digging a hole out in the chicken coop. So we'll see about that. But before we get out of here, Stu's take of the week, and I asked him earlier on when we were prepping for the show, what young quarterback in the league do you think has the most pressure on him to perform? And it actually lined up with your take. So I'm gonna leave it to you.
Man, there's a lot of them, to be honest. Right? We got Trevor Lawrence, the Jacksonville Jaguars, Clemson's finest, right?
He's the best.
Last year
he's the best worst quarterback in the league. Like he's always ranked like number 15, 17. Like he ain't the worst, but he's never in the top 10. He's just right there.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where he's obviously he's in a franchise that has struggled just to be relevant, right? But they've done their best to maintain the level of competition around him to excel. You have Trevor Etienne as a running back. Like, he's a highly touted a guy in the backfield that can perform and give you those yards on the ground, right? Last year he was actually starting to come into his own. Then he got injured, and so that was the bad luck of last year. And I think this year, now that this is his 5th year.
Yeah, I believe
6th
so.
year.
Yeah, I think
Fifth
so.
is- the clock is ticking, right? And I
Mm,
don't
man.
necessarily think that, if he doesn't make the playoffs this year, it's over for him. I just think, he's now entering that phase of like, okay, we watching you, right? Um, but hopefully he's able to stay healthy and he's able to showcase what he can actually do this year, because we he deserves to shine. I think he has what it takes. I think a lot of these quarterbacks just get a bad break, and I think he's been getting some bad breaks. Um, Now Caleb Williams,
Hmm.
I don't know if you saw the video of him
Mhm. Have no.
missing the three. They have the passing drill as a quarterback. Man, your job is to put it into the hole,
Yep.
or at least hit
The
the
net.
target, the
He's in the
net.
area.
And I don't know but in all seriousness, I don't know what's going on with him personally. But watching that video, it just made me think, like, what's going on?
It
There's got
was
to be
the
something else under the hood,
it was the
right?
hissy fit or whatever right after the third one where he just like and like
He just kind of like snapped and just kind of walked away from the net. I'm like, man, the
yeah.
net didn't do anything to you. You
He
just
acted
got
like
to
the
throw
net
it at the net.
he acted like the net insulted him. It's like, yo,
Yeah.
net's sitting
Yeah,
here.
like, yo, man, just hit
Oh,
me.
just
I'm
catch
wide
it.
open.
Catch it.
Everybody else did it.
I've never
But
been I've never been that high on Caleb Williams, to be honest. Like I know he won the Heisman and all that stuff. There's
I don't
just
want to
something about
jump the
him.
gun. I don't want to jump the gun, but all I'm saying is that training camp is intense, right?
Yeah.
You've not been away. You've been away from football and the ways in which media is at your practice. Games are about to start. You just watched the Hall of Fame ceremony. So you put in a lot of pressure on yourself. And I think he's a guy right now where he's feeling the pressure because he has the assets around him right now. He's got a staff. He's got some players. He's got a locker
Oh
room. He's got
yeah.
an offense
Yeah.
that's there. All right. They should be making some waves this year. And I think he's feeling it a little bit. So whoever's in his corner, you got to make sure you rally around that guy because he's your man. He's your guy. You watch that video, you don't laugh and chuckle at it. You got to go to him and say, "Hey, what's going on? You
Yeah. What's,
straight? You
what's
need a date. You need a break
mm-hmm.
because right now this is an opportunity for us to develop. Okay, and we can't develop if you over there in the tank.
Chicago
Okay,
is so hard to. I've said this so many times. To me, Chicago is where quarterbacks go to die. Basically, like who's the who's the best quarterback in Chicago Bears history? Like I land on Jim McMahon, I guess. Like uh, Jay Cutler. Like
Cutler.
I
I
mean,
think Cutler.
McMahon's the only one that won a Super Bowl, so I land on him.
So yeah, McMahon.
And
Yeah.
even McMahon was like a 2-year stretch, 3-year stretch, like 84 to 86, and that was kind of it. So I'm worried about that because he does have a lot of weapons around him. I was looking at like and I know you got to get out of here. The quarterbacks that got drafted with Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Bo Nix is in that category if I'm not mistaken. No, came the year after.
No, Bo was
Bo's year after.
Year after.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but mainly CJ and Anthony Richardson, guys that we were trying to talk ourselves into drafting. And that first year, we were all like, well, both of these guys look light years better than Bryce Young. Last year, kind of turned back around by the end of the season where, to CJ's defense, his team got banged up. And Houston, they're
Yeah.
picking him to do a lot of things this year. Now they're getting back fully healthy. He lost Tank
Yeah.
Dell and a
Tank
bunch of guys.
Dell. Yeah.
Anthony Richardson keeps getting banged up. And he was a 50% kind of thrower to begin with coming in. So he was more of a hit or miss kind of prospect when they got him. Bryce is starting to look a lot better now. In hindsight, 2 years later, to these young quarterbacks. So to me, it would be like somebody like that. And then, of course, someone like a Justin Herbert, where if you follow the track record, the LA Chargers are going to be in the Super Bowl this year because Jim Harbaugh is the coach, and this is like year 2, and that's kind of what he does. Like, stacks
he
wins
turns that ship around real quick.
Fast. Yeah, that's why I wanted him. It's like, come on,
they got Amari and Hampton too at running back. Drafted
dude from Carolina. Yes,
they're gonna run. They're gonna run that rock.
Oh yeah, they're gonna load the jumbo packages and all. You know how Harbaugh gets down.
I think Justin Herbert is actually the quarterback that probably has the most pressure.
I think so too, because he's in a tough division too. You got Pat Mahomes in your division. You got Knicks, and now Geno Smith.
And pressure just because you have the most pressure doesn't mean it's a bad thing. No. It just means that you are primed for an opportunity.
Pat Mahomes goes into every week with pressure. Like, I was thinking back on that season last year for Kansas City. I was like, how in the world did they go 15-2? Like, because they gave up the last game, remember? Like, they sat everybody. So really, they were 15-1 going into that game. They won so many games by the hair on their neck last year. It was ridiculous. And then it showed in the Super Bowl where, Philly was like, we ain't them.
Like Patrick was over there running with his hair on fire.
I'm as we end this episode, I just want people to understand as we go into preseason week 1, Pat Mahomes was 15-2 last year and did not really have wide receivers or offensive line. He had running backs in and out, getting hurt. The defense really held them together last year, but the offense went straight. They've had a whole offseason to fix this, and they've been stewing on the fact that Philly embarrassed them in the Super Bowl. We're going to get to our predictions in a couple of weeks, but I think for the third year in a row, it's going to say Kansas City, Philly by the time we get to the end of it, because we picked them 2 years straight. So we'll see. But we got to get out of here. Appreciate everybody joining us here. Special thanks to FanDuel, brand new partner with Believe. Looking forward to working with them throughout the rest of the year. We should be back next week, but what's up?
Shout out to Sterling Sharp and Antonio Gates, man.
Making it in.
Two of one of my favorite football players of all time. Antonio Gates.
He was a low
Kent State basketball star. Did not play college football at all. First Hall of Famer to not play college football.
That's crazy.
I don't need to say nothing.
And he's probably maybe top 5 tight end all time.
He had no blueprint.
No.
He did it his way. That's incredible.
Love it. And then Sterling Sharp. You want to talk old school, like Tecmo Bowl, like Sterling Sharp.
That was Debo Samuels before Debo Samuels.
Yep. Yes, he was. We didn't even get time to talk about the whole NFL network ESPN buyout thing. Maybe we can get to that next week because that's going to change a lot of things in terms of how you consume stuff. We'll get into that a little bit next week too as they work out the finales on that. But we got to get out of here. For Jonathan Stewart, this is Desmond Johnson. You've been watching and listening to the Believe in Panthers podcast here on Believe Podcast Networks. Keep on it.